Welcome back to Moving to Hampton Roads. My name is David Tortellini, and in today's video, I'm going to take you on a tour of one of my favorite neighborhoods on the northern outskirts of Williamsburg, Stonehouse. So Stonehouse is a beautiful golf course community filled with a lot of newer homes, a lot of homes with first floor master bedrooms, townhomes, a variety of different housing options for no matter where you are in life. There are multiple clubhouses and pools. This is really a great neighborhood, and I'm very excited to share it with you. So what we'll do first is we're going to get on the map. I'll show you where Stonehouse is in relationship to the other things that you know in Williamsburg. And then we're going to drive through the community, and I'll share with you everything you need to know about living in Stonehouse. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button, and then just know I'm just a call, text, or email away when you're ready to get started. All right, let's get right to it. Alrighty, we're here on Google Earth, and we're going to zoom on in on Williamsburg, Virginia. So this is Williamsburg right here. This is going to be on the Virginia Peninsula. We call this the Peninsula, and we call this greater region down this way, the bottom southeast corner of Virginia. This is Hampton Roads, so hence the name of the YouTube channel, Moving to Hampton Roads. But Williamsburg is here on the peninsula, where you also have Newport News, Hampton, and York County that runs up here, and Poquoson right here. And if you have ever visited the area, you've probably been down here to Colonial Williamsburg right here, and William and Mary is right here. William and Mary campus is beautiful. If you come to the area, you need to go check that out. And then, of course, we have Jamestown Settlement over here and Busch Gardens this way, Water Country's over here. So a lot to do right here in Williamsburg. And these are places that if you've been on vacation here, you may have very well visited. So this is where the majority of people live that live in Williamsburg. They live in James City County, which wraps this way. You have some York County, and you have City of Williamsburg right here. And right here is Route 60. This is filled with hotels and restaurants and other fun things to do. So it's a very busy road. You've got the outlet mall is up this way, and a whole bunch of stuff. And this is a road you're going to become very familiar with, because if you live in Stonehouse, you're not going to be in this main area with everyone else. So you see this little town right here. This is Toano. This is an unincorporated town that's part of James City County. And the northern section of this, before we get up into New Kent County, is right up here, and this is Stonehouse. So this is the neighborhood I'm going to drive you through in a little bit, and we'll come back to right here. So this is definitely a neighborhood for people who are comfortable being kind of on the outskirts. Don't necessarily need to have a Starbucks and a Target 5 minutes away. This is for people who are looking for a great community, a really nice home, and don't mind that they're going to be a little out of the way. So if they come down about 10 minutes, that's really going to start putting you around a lot of the things that you're going to need in your life. So it's about 10 minutes to stuff, and about another 10 minutes from there to get down into Colonial Williamsburg. So if you want to be close to Colonial Williamsburg, this is going to put you about 20 minutes away. But when you get down into this area, this is called Lightfoot. This is where you're going to get your Walmart, your Lowe's, your Home Depot. This is Centera Hospital. So this is the large medical facility in Williamsburg. So for someone, if you're looking for being near a hospital, the good news is, even though it seems like it's on the outskirts, you're really only about 10 minutes to the hospital. So that's really nice being there. And chances are, if you're looking at Stonehouse, you're also looking at some other neighborhoods. So to put it in perspective, this is Colonial Heritage, which is the really big 55 plus community. And down here is something like Ford's Colony. So another really huge golf course community. So you may also be looking at a neighborhood like that. And the Kings Mill is down this way, if you're familiar at all with that name. So when we get here into Stonehouse, what we're going to do is we're going to start here and drive on in. We're going to take this left into the section that's called Mill Pond at Stonehouse. So the Mill Pond area, because this is Mill Pond right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn on into here, and I'm going to drive you through each of these little subsections. We might skip over a couple as we go. But we'll start off by just talking a little bit about the clubhouse down here. So this clubhouse pool area, this is just for the Mill Pond folks. So the other people that live in the rest of Stonehouse, they use their own clubhouse and everything over here. But this really is a beautiful clubhouse. There's a ton of parking, as you can see. There's a pool with lap lanes, so that's really nice. You've got the tennis courts here. And then the clubhouse itself is really, really nice. There is a fitness center. There's a full kitchen. You're going to have an individual meeting room as well as a larger conference room and lounge areas. And there's even soccer fields over this way for the kiddos to go play on. So there's just a whole lot to do right here. And so this is a very, very nice clubhouse area for everybody. And again, it's just for these residents right here. And then when you come on here, you can see Stonehouse Golf Club. So as you can see, with all the golf, with the golf course mixed into the community, this is a golf course community, and I really like the whole vibe of this golf club. It's really nice. The people that were working in the pro shop were great. They gave me a cart just without me even asking to go around and take photos and video. So they were a lot of fun, but it's really, really beautiful. When you pull in, it's this beautiful wooded setting. It feels like you're going out into the woods. And then the pro shop is this beautiful barn style, and it's a nice smaller pro shop. So it's not this big luxurious pro shop like we've seen in some of the other neighborhoods in Williamsburg. But then next door to it is the Stonehouse Grill, and it's this beautiful restaurant, and the bar is fantastic. There's a ton of indoor seating, and there's a large deck with seating that overlooks the 18th hole, so you can watch people coming in and finishing their round. And I always love it when golf courses have that. That's always a nice highlight to go grab a beer after a round and watch everybody else flub their way in. And then, I love that that outdoor bar has seats that face back into the bar. So you can sit outside, still watch the game on the TV and stuff. So it's a really cool place to be. The staff there is really nice. So my experiences there have always been really great between the pro shop and those guys, and then what I like about this golf course community is this feels like a golf course that's attached to a community, not a community that's attached to a golf course. So, we recently did a video on Governor's Land, and that is a golf club community. So everybody in that neighborhood is a member of the club, and whether you do golf or social membership, but it's a club that has houses versus this is a very large suburban neighborhood where there is a golf course. But as you can see, a lot of the holes don't really interfere and don't butt up against the homes. Sure, some of them do, but not all of them. So if you don't want to be a golf person, you can live in this neighborhood and never interact with the golf at all. So it's really cool. It's a beautiful neighborhood. We're going to come in here, check out the Mill Pond section. We've got the New Homes by Lennar over here, and then we'll finish up over this way. And as you can see, there's also a lot of vacant land here. This is being cleared right now. Last time I checked, it was only zoned to have 19 residences on this. It's like 1,000 acres. So I'm not sure if that's changed. I haven't been able to get any information on what exactly they're doing there, but keep an eye on the comments. I will put any updates I learn over the years right down in there. All right, so that is Stonehouse. That gives you a good idea of where we are. And now let's get in the car and go check out some of the houses. All right, now let's head on into the neighborhood. And this has to be one of my favorite entrances to any community throughout Hampton Roads. It is beautiful, it's well manicured, well landscaped, and it's a solid half-mile drive before you turn into any of the actual neighborhoods with housing. So it gives you that separation that you're looking for when you're buying a home here in this kind of northern Toano area, where chances are you're looking for a little bit quieter life away from a lot of traffic. So really just a beautiful, beautiful place. And up ahead, we're going to turn left and we're going to turn into the Mill Pond section of Stonehouse. And so as soon as you get into this section of the neighborhood, you are going to find that you'll have the tennis courts should be coming up here momentarily, and the swimming pool. And this is where we get into the whole Mill Pond community. So this is the clubhouse that we talked about a little while ago. You can kind of see it from the parking lot here. We're not going to talk too much more about this because you got to see it all earlier, but you can see it's really right up at the beginning of the community. And now when we head out, we're going to be able to start looking at some of the houses, and we're going to drive by those soccer fields again. So as we kind of head up the road here, we're going to take a right into a little community, and the entire Mill Pond section is broken down into these other little mini sub neighborhoods. So we'll just refer to them as the neighborhoods within Stonehouse. And up at the end of this street is where you can get the main access to the Bird Creek Nature Trail. So there's a wonderful hiking trail throughout the neighborhood called Bird Creek Nature Trail, and you can get up to that and go for a walk in the woods. It really is wonderful if you're looking to get off the streets and kind of get into nature a little bit. And as we go through the various neighborhoods here, you're going to see that each one has kind of its own little feel to it. So a lot of them are going to be fairly similar. But you are going to find that there are going to be some that are a lot more wooded than others. Some have kind of more of the modern homes, a lot more recent builds than others. So there's going to be a little bit of a difference. And then there's one called Orchard Hill that's very different than the rest, and we'll talk a lot about that when we get to it. But what you're looking at in this Mill Pond area, the greater area, are over 600 homes. And they started building these homes in 1999, and they've been building consistently through 2024. So you're going to see a range of ages in this area. So there are going to be different styles, different updates for when they were built. And I think it's going to be really important when you're looking at homes in this neighborhood to think about what year they were built and kind of understand what good and bad things could come with that. So when they started building this section, there were large builders in here, like Centex was a very large builder at the time. And there have since been many private builds as well. So you're going to have some that are built by large builders. You're going to have some that are built by small private builders, and everything in between. And it's going to be about doing the research on those homes to figure out if that is important to you, who built the home, and what that necessarily means. And you're going to see kind of later in this video, when we get to the other neighborhoods, that it moves away from the private builds and gets to strictly large tract builders that build much larger neighborhoods and just build a few different homes throughout the entire subdivision. So when we get to that section, you'll definitely see it. So homes in this area are going to range from about 1,732 square feet to over 7,000 square feet. So you are not going to have trouble finding a home that fits your size requirements. There's pretty much everything in between. Of course, some of these 5,000 square foot plus homes, there aren't a lot of them, but they definitely do exist. All right, and then this is Orchard Hill. So Orchard Hill, I love. I think it's one of the cutest neighborhoods in existence. These white picket fences get me every single time. I can't get enough of it. And what you're going to see in here that's a little different is there are single family, but there are also duplexes. So you see a lot of these connected homes that we're looking at here. So it's not always just about having the single family home in here. One of the things that we haven't talked about yet are the HOA fees. So for general Mill Pond, you're looking at $147 a month. But here in Orchard Hill, it goes up to $314 a month. And that's because they have their own private pool. And we'll drive by that here in a moment. But you can also do an add-on that's $100 a month for some specialized services like lawn maintenance. So this section, so that's the pool right there. So this section is not a 55 plus community, but it kind of feels like one because it is smaller yards. There are maintenance options. It almost gives you that colonial heritage sort of feel, but oh my gosh, just the fences and the entire feeling of that part of the neighborhood I love it to death. So that's Orchard Hill. And in Orchard Hill, and really throughout most of Mill Pond, one of the great benefits to this section is it is a ton of first floor primary bedrooms. So if you are someone who wants to be on the first floor for your bedroom at least, you're going to have a really great opportunity to do that here in Mill Pond. It's probably 80% or more first floor primary bedroom. So that's a really nice feature for a lot of my folks who are relocating a little later in life who want to kind of get to the Williamsburg area. So if that's you, this could be a really good section of the community for you because the later ones don't necessarily have all of that. All right, and then, I mentioned that there are different subsections, different little neighborhoods in here. They have names like Leatherleaf and Laurel Ridge and Orchard Hill and Walnut Creek and Lisburn, and there's a bunch more. And we're trying to drive through quite a few of them, but there isn't necessarily a big difference between them. This is just an opportunity for you to tell people kind of where you are within the greater community and kind of create your own little neighborhood and have that kind of community feel with your own little subsection, because a neighborhood like this can get really overwhelming if you don't if you don't have that kind of connection with your neighbors there. So overall, homes in the Mill Pond section, they are going to range, the past year or so, we've been looking at sale prices that range from $385,000 up to $885,000. So, of course, you saw the duplexes in Orchard Hill. So that would be an example of something that sold at the lower end. And then up at the higher end, you're looking at, something that actually was on Richardson Mill Pond. And that was a 5,000 square foot house that had a little water in the background. So you can see what you get, and there's a big difference, and it's a really kind of varying community with a lot of different options from price point to size, style, and everything. So, we got a couple of big homes right here. Those are some of the biggest in the entire community right there. So really beautiful neighborhood. I'm going to continue driving through here for a little bit. I'm gonna just kind of let the music play while we see the rest of this section of the neighborhood. And then when we kind of get ready to move on to the next section, which is gonna be some of the new construction that Lennar is doing right now, I'll jump back in. Alrighty, well that is the Mill Pond section. And now we're going to go ahead and enter into the newest phase of this community, and this is being built by Lennar. So you can kind of see straight ahead there what you're looking at. So it's a different feel than where we just came from, absolutely. These are all homes built right in a row. There are several models here, 4 models I believe to choose from the single family homes. I have done a full video tour of the model home of this section, and at the end of this video I'll make sure it's one of the 4 kind of squares that pop up so that you can click on that if you want to look at the model home. But these really, I mean, they're beautiful homes. I have clients in here, they are very happy, they love it. This section and much of the rest of the community is a $92 HOA for the single families, and these are selling in the $485 to $585 square footage range, price range right now, and range from about 2,500 to 4,000 square feet. Now the square footage can range tremendously because of the basements. So there are basement opportunities in Stonehouse. In much of Stonehouse there are basement opportunities, which can really, and if you finish them, can really kind of grow that square footage tremendously. Now these townhomes, you have $167 HOA, and most of these are selling in like the mid 400s. And the cool thing about what Lennar has been doing until they finish this out, they're doing a lot of like discounted interest rates on these homes. So if you get this while they're still being built, we'll definitely check on that. Their preferred lender right now is doing as low as 3.99% interest. So that's a pretty cool opportunity to get new construction, because we don't have a ton of new construction in the region, and be able to kind of get in at a lower interest rate. But that is a really great part of the neighborhood. And then this kind of keeps going, and we're going to keep moving on to our next section. And that's going to be the first section of Stonehouse Glen. So Stonehouse Glen is made up of 3 different sections, 2 of which are small, and the first one we're in right now, and the third of which is very large. So we'll do the first 2 small little sections first, and then we're going to move on to the large section. So with Stonehouse Glen, the HOA again is similar to the Lennar. It's at $92 for the single family homes here. And what you're looking at are Ryan Homes builds. So Ryan Homes built all of these, and they were built between 2007 and 2014. And they are going to range again considerably from anywhere from 2,000 square feet up to 7,000 square feet. Now, most of what's sold in the last year have been pretty decent size homes, kind of in that 2,500 to 4,500 square foot range, and we're seeing sale prices anywhere from about $540 up to around $700,000. So you are still going to get a pretty good range in terms of the sale price here and the size and all of that. So it really is another part of the neighborhood where you can continue to find some either really good value, or if you want to be up in that kind of sub-luxury area, you can do that here as well. And as we get into the larger section, one of the things with these video tours that I do is I like to show you as much of the community as possible, which means that a lot of times I tend to run out of things to talk about. So as we go through, eventually I'll turn it over to some music here, but just know like this section does have its own playground, and it has its own tennis courts, and we'll see those as we drive through the neighborhood. And these neighborhoods that we've been looking at, these all, and for the rest of the video, they all use the other clubhouse and the other pool. So when we drive by that, we'll stop and take a look at the other clubhouse, and that's going to be out onto the main street again and around the corner before we get to our next set of neighborhoods. So we are going to see that other clubhouse here in just a few minutes. But with all that being said, this is really a very, very pretty section of the community. There are some large yards here, obviously some big, beautiful homes as well. So we just have a few more minutes of driving around Stonehouse Glen to do, and as I mentioned, I'm going to just turn it over to the music so you can see the rest of the community. I do love for you to see as much as possible before we get on to the next section, so I'll catch up with you here in just a second. And as we head out of Stonehouse Glen, we're going to head down the road and we're going to go around the corner and start looking at some of the other neighborhoods here. But we are about to come up as well on the other clubhouse and pool that you would have access to if you lived in any of these other sections of the community. So really pretty clubhouse. It's much bigger than it looks. I'm actually on a balcony overlooking the pool and the kids' splash pad. Great place out here. So this is the top level deck that overlooks everything, and there's a whole section below this as well. So it really is much larger than it looks. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get inside on the day I was here. The only cars that were there were actually just out for bike rides, so there was no one in the building to let me in. So that is a very nice clubhouse though. And that brings us to Stonehouse Townes. And these are very popular. I bet you can guess right away why they're popular, and that is because of the 2-car garages on the townhomes. If you're not familiar with Williamsburg townhomes, many of them are 3 stories and they are single-car garages, but these have the 2-car garage, so they are very popular. But these, it's about 100 units, still built by Ryan Homes, 1,711 square feet to 2,575, built between 2019 and 2023. The last couple that have sold have been kind of on the smaller side, but they've sold in the mid 300s, and the HOA in this section is $167 per month. But Stonehouse Townes, very popular for people who want to be in that townhome, but still want to get the 2-car garage. I wish we had a ton more of these because I have a bunch of people who would really love them. So we're going to keep moving on down and head on into our next section. And that's going to bring us into our next section called Stonehouse Ridge. So this is another Ryan Homes community, and I think what you can see right away is that you're going to have a combination in this neighborhood of two-story homes with single-story homes, and that's going to be really nice for anybody who's looking to get down from maybe a two-story home into a single-story and have an opportunity to get most of your living space here on the first floor. So there are going to definitely be some options for that here too. And this section is about 150 homes. And they're going to range from 1,600 square feet to about 4,500 square feet. And we've been seeing sale prices here recently of between $465,000 and $610,000. So a nice little range there, but still for what you can get for those larger homes, really right in that price range with everyone else. And this section is a little bit more like that Lennar section up front, not similar to the Mill Pond section where you're going to get the larger lots with the wooded lots and a lot more space between the homes. You know, when you have a builder like Ryan, they're going to be more efficient with the land use here. And again, $92 HOA in this section. And that's going to bring us out to our final section of this community right now. Now, right behind me on the other side of the street, there is land being cleared. Now, my original understanding of the land behind us is that it had only originally been zoned for like 19 estates style homes, and it was a lot of acreage, but it looks like they may be doing something else with it now. So if I can get some updates on that, I'll put them in the comments for you. But this section is called Stonehouse Manor, and these were built between 2021 and 2023, and it's just a section of 85 homes, again built by Ryan. And they're going to range from 1,900 square feet to 4,500 square feet, and very similar to Stonehouse Ridge. You know, we're looking at sale prices in the $525 to $617 range, so you're going to get a very similar product here. And then, of course, you can see some of those drop downs, more opportunity for basements, and that's one of the really great things about Stonehouse overall. I know I mentioned it earlier, but it's really hard to get good basements in Williamsburg. Now, if you're farther down the peninsula in Newport News, Hampton, most of York County, they almost just don't exist at all. But once you kind of get up into this Toano area, and especially northern Toano, you get some hills, and we get some, much higher elevation where you can dig down into the ground and get some basements. So overall, this is Stonehouse. It is a beautiful community, and this is just about where we're going to wrap up today's tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching our tour today of Stonehouse. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below and I'll reply to them as soon as possible. Be sure to check out the description. We'll have some really helpful links in there, as well as a link that'll take you to everything that's currently for sale in Stonehouse, no matter when you watch this video. Of course, I live here in Williamsburg, and I would absolutely love to help you out with your next home purchase. So you can call, text, or email anytime to get started. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone else you know who may be making a move to the Williamsburg area, and then subscribe to this channel. Again, my name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for watching.